Hey guys, welcome back here to the Fishing Teacher, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to check the episode out. And guys, today I'm going to show you guys how to read and decipher a two-dimensional sonar, just like this right here. You guys know that I don't use any type of live scope or all that type of, advanced technology. The only thing I use is a two-dimensional sonar. If they rig boats out with a flasher, that's all I would have in it. But I want to give you guys some good tips and advice on how to use a 2D sonar. And it's really all you need. You can compete at any level with just a 2D sonar. So we're going to get into that today's episode here. And also, guys, speaking of 2D sonars, if you guys are looking to purchase one, you may or may not know about it, but Tackle Warehouse has got a full line of electronics. If you guys are looking to upgrade or get some electronics, I'll have my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. Using that link is a great way to support the channel. Really appreciate that. And also, guys, quick reminder, tonight we do have our live stream for our channel members and Patreon members. So if you guys would like to join Kim and I for the private live stream, just go on to the Fishing Teacher here, click the join button for memberships options, and hope to see you guys there. Okay, one of the things about it is, you can spend tens of thousands of dollars on electronics. I mean, you can, and it's like you don't need it. Don't really get sucked into this whole thing that you're going to get left behind if you don't keep up with all the latest stuff, because you don't. The last two tournaments I fished, I got first place and fifth place, nothing but 2D sonar, not even really looking at it. I could probably done just as good without it, but I want to just show you guys that, what a 2D sonar can do, in today's, advancements with it, give you guys some tips and advice on how to use it. So, you don't have to spend a bunch of money. You can get a 2D sonar unit. So I'm going to turn the screen around, and we're just going to idle around out here, and I'm going to sort of show you what everything looks like and what you're looking at on the 2D sonar. So okay, guys, let's just sort of idle along here, and I'm going to show you what shows up on the screen here. Now, one thing that I will show you first of all is most of these 2D sonars, they're factory set perfect. You don't even have to make any adjustments. The only adjustment that you really need to make is that to get the best reading, you need to have your chart speed at the same speed as your boat. So say, for example, if you're going 3 miles an hour with your boat, set your chart speed to 3 miles an hour. That's about the only adjustment I make. But here's some stuff here, guys. Let's take a look at this. Like that right there, that's a submerged timber. That's a submerged tree right there. These are also submerged trees. You can see coming up from the bottom here. It's 40 foot deep there, so it's 60 foot deep here. The top of these trees are coming to 40. Here's a bunch of fish right above them here. Now, those could be, they could be a little bit of anything. They could be some crappie in there. They could be some spotted bass mixed in there. There might be some carp in there. I mean, it could be about, oops, sorry about that, it froze up. Just let me re-get that here. It froze up there. Those could be just a variety of different fish. Carp, maybe catfish, white bass, maybe some spotted bass in there. When they're schooled up like that, it's really hard to tell. It's another tree right there. You can see that. The only difference a lot of times with 2D sonars, a lot of times you can't distinguish the fish right next to the tree. A little bit of interference there. I'm going to idle out on this point here and sort of show you a little bit what it looks like here. I want to try to find a shad school here to sort of guys show you what a shad school looks like. If we can find it. But the more you get familiar with it, the more you can see, how everything breaks off there, and just distinguish what you have. Now, for those of you who have vegetation in the lake, vegetation looks like a bunch of little stringy stuff coming up off the bottom there. Obviously, we don't have any vegetation here on Table Rock Lake at all, but that's pretty common there. Now, anytime that you have stuff like this, guys, you can see that there's a lot of activity here, and this is sort of like mixed in trees, it's mixed in fish. I still haven't seen a shad school yet. I'm trying to find them. We can see one here. Mix a lot of different stuff there. In the summertime, you notice a lot of this here. You notice a lot of bait fish. One of the reasons, if you see all the fish here, look at the depth. You're not seeing a lot of these fish below 30 foot because the thermocline is about 30 foot on the lake. So that's why you've got so many fish up here in the upper column, you know, like between say 10 and 15 feet. I'm gonna go down this little bit steeper bank here and sort of see if I can see some stuff. Some more submerged trees out there. Let's go out into the middle of the creek here. Yeah, those are drawing out the submerged trees really good. Let's go out in the middle of the creek here and see if we can see anything. The best way to get good at your electronics is just to idle around a lot. You know, once you idle around a lot and you do some fishing, a lot of times, you know, that's how you catch them. Now, anytime you have submerged timber like we have here, these fish could be suspended out here anywhere. And that's where the guys that use a forward-facing sonar, they're able to detect if those fish are actually in those treetops. And you can, like I said, to a certain extent on down imaging and side imaging, but a lot of times you just sort of have to fish through there. So what I do when I'm using 2D sonars, I'll get out here in the standing timber and I'll just, you know, pitch out there 15 or 20 foot in front of the boat and just work it just like I'm working a stretch of shoreline or something like that. But I don't see much bait fish here. Let's go to a different spot and see if I can see. Okay guys, here's what some shad looks like right here. Here's a good example. Notice these shad balls right out here. You know, they're just suspended out in the open. That's what a shad ball looks like. It just looks like a ball of shad, you know, stacked up vertical there. That probably is right there too. These blobs here sometimes are hard to decipher. Those are probably trees, but that is exactly what shad look like right there. Here's another really good example when I'm talking about the thermocline. You know, look at all the activity right here. You've got bait fish, you got fish right along the column right there, and all of this stuff, you know, is right above the thermocline for the most part there. Another really good example of what to look for there. Okay guys, like I said, the main thing that you have to do is you just have to practice and you have to spend time at it. It's like when you spend time at it and you see what stuff looks like on your electronics, and then you go back and fish it and, you know, get a better visual for that, then you know exactly what to look for. But, you know, one other thing I'll tell you guys about it, don't get too hung up on it, because a lot of the stuff that you see on a two-dimensional sonar unit is not going to help you a lot to catch fish. There are some things that are going to. I mean, you can find drop-offs, you can find bait, you can find all that type of stuff, but in general, you know, you're not going to have a big, you know, variety of different things that you can do with that. So, main thing is with it is just try to spend as much time as you possibly can. You know, get comfortable with it. You know, every unit's going to be a little bit different, and more time on the water you spend with it, the better you're going to get learning on it.